This is a special edition Inside the Bubble Sic Em Podcast, keeping you in touch with Baylor men's and women's basketball in the NCAA tournaments. The Sic Em Podcast is presented by Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, your friend in the car business. Now, let's go inside the bubble with your hosts, Brooke Bednarz and the voice of the Bears, John Morris.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of our Inside the Bubble Sic Em Podcast and a special Final Four edition of the Inside the Bubble. John Morris, Brooke Bednarz. And Brooke, this is exciting. Baylor men's basketball in the Final Four, playing in the Final Four for the first time since 1950.
71 years. This is something Baylor fans have been waiting a long time for the men to make it to the Final Four, and I am just super thrilled, already looking forward to Saturday. And I think we have someone perfect to talk to us a little bit about what's going on inside the bubble as they prepare for this Final Four matchup with Houston.
Absolutely. Couldn't be any better. Baylor's associate head coach, Coach Jerome Tang, is with us as we go inside the bubble. Coach, welcome to you. We appreciate your time today.
Well, thanks for having me. Hope everybody's doing well, and just a very exciting time right now.
How are you doing? We haven't been able to speak with you inside the bubble yet, and obviously it's been all good things, but how's it been going for you?
I mean, it's been great. The guys have been wonderful. The staff here at the Marriott has taken great care of us. I mean, there's really nothing to complain about. Obviously we would all wish we could hug our wives and our kids, but everyone in the program and outside the program is making a sacrifice to allow this to happen. And so we're just very appreciative of the opportunity.
You guys, you know that JW Marriott pretty well, right? Probably inside and out.
Well, it's actually the Marriott.
You're at the Marriott.
Right. And
gotcha.
we know the eighth floor, because that's the floor that we're on. And then we know our meeting room. And it is a pretty cool meeting room. There are a bunch of Connect Four games out. There are Uno cards out. There's cornhole. We've learned about cornhole. We got a basketball hoop in here and some bean bags. It's a blast, because when we come down to guys, I mean, you walk in for dinner or whatever's going on, and they're on the Connect Four. They are competing, so it's a lot of fun.
I was going to say, we heard it gets quite competitive in there, and not just on the court that we've all been able to watch.
It does.
Hey, we can see as we record this via Zoom. Folks listening to us can't see it, but it looks like some notes tacked up on the wall behind you. Are you guys? What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we've been working with JL Hines and their fourth grade class, and so we've read some books to them. We've sent some videos to them, and the students wrote letters to the guys. And so we've got them taped up on the wall here in the meeting room with notes to each of the guys. And it's just really cool, the connection. And those students at JL Hines, they've read, I think, like 500 hours. They're obviously preparing right for the STAR test they had to take. And we know that there've been a lot of hardships with the power going out during that time and everything. But our prayers are with them. We think about them and talk about them all the time. And we're just excited for their success in the classroom.
I love all those notes. I think we can see when "you will win" in all caps.
Yeah.
I like what they're thinking.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, walk us through that last matchup from your perspective. It was 81-72 over number 3 Arkansas. Kind of what was it like from your perspective, and how do you feel that game went?
Well, I mean, I think from a nostalgic perspective, you think about having a chance to go to the Final Four and you're playing against an old Southwest Conference foe, the Razorbacks. And but what a terrific team. Eric does a great job with those guys. And I mean, they're fast, they're athletic, they're aggressive. And we were really excited about the challenge, because it was going to be very different from Villanova, who was very methodical. And they tried to control the pace. And And so it was definitely a different challenge for our guys. And I felt like, I mean, the dudes were locked in from the start. We jumped out, and um, when we got the lead and they have to play from behind, I think that really helped us. Davion getting in foul trouble, messed up our rotation some, and we had some guys had to play more minutes in the first half than normal, and so I felt like during the game we our guards probably got a little tired, but in the second half, with our back to our regular rotation, we were able to, just keep pressure on them. I mean, because they were going to keep pressure on us. They were going to make shots. They were going to keep trapping. They're going to do what they do. They were a great offensive rebounding team, and we knew we had to try and keep them off the glass. And so, but I just felt like every guy, all they cared about was winning. Nobody cared about who scored or what happened. It was just all about winning. And I particularly remember in one timeout, we're sitting there, and there might have been a little, conversation going back and forth. And one of the coaches said something, and sometimes in the heat of the battle, something said and might be said the wrong way or taken the wrong way. But it was so cool that Maceo said, "Look, everybody be quiet, and Coach Tang, just coach us right now, just coach us." And then at halftime in the locker room, the guys were like, "Listen to me." They coached each other. Like, it doesn't matter what's going. Let's just listen to what the coaches say, and just go out there and do what we're supposed to do. And I mean, just when you see that kind of a leadership, from the players. And I remember Mark Vital at one time just saying, "Look, we got bad body language. We have to change our body language." And he was referring to the staff, and he was right, because we all felt the tension. I mean, we all wanted to win this game. We all wanted to have a chance to go to the Final Four, and everyone feels it a different way. But the uniqueness of this team is that they have a maturity about them that they can express what they're feeling, and then they can also take in what we're feeling and go back and forth. And so I felt like we all helped each other get better during this game. And obviously the last 2 minutes of the game, I guess when they pulled the win in 4, and then we go on that 10-1 run, and Maceo hits the 2 threes, and Adam hits the 3, and now, like, you see the clock ticking, and you just want it to tick a little bit faster. When the horn went off, it was a great relief, because these guys had worked so hard and sacrificed so much. I just didn't want to be the person who messed it up for them. So sitting there for a few minutes, it was just a great relief. And then as the hours went by, and then you started thinking, man, we're going to a Final Four. And not I wasn't thinking about the 18 years at Baylor. I was thinking back as a kid. I remember my first Final Four I ever watched. It was actually the championship game in '79, Michigan State and Indiana State. I knew nothing about college basketball, but my friends at school said, "You got to watch this." Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. And I think I've watched every Final Four national championship since then. And so all those years of watching it, and as a high school coach, seeing coaches out there and thinking, man, maybe one day, I could be a part of that. And now knowing that I'm going to get to be a part of it, it's just a super cool feeling.
There have been a lot of pictures circulating from your 18 years here at Baylor with you and Coach Drew. And if anyone listening hasn't heard the story, we did talk with Coach Tang earlier this podcast year, I guess. And I definitely suggest everyone go and listen to that story, because it's a great one. But when you see those pictures and you reflect back on the specific 18 years here at Baylor, to see that picture of you and Coach Drew at the very beginning, to know the foundation that's been built, and to now have all of it kind of come together in probably one of the craziest years of college basketball. What does that mean to you to be preparing right now for a Final Four game and actually have it be, the first time it's been 2 Texas schools going at it against each other in that Final Four game?
Yeah, that seeing the pictures, it's pretty crazy, because I don't know, the people who are listening that are older understand that in our minds, we don't see ourselves as getting older. You know, I still feel like that guy, you know, that walked in 37 years old. You know, I still see myself in my mind. And then you start seeing the pictures and you go, man, I'm getting old. So it's cool to see the pictures and know all that, you know, for Scott to have faith in me and not know me, and, you know, just allow God to lead him, and then all these years being together, and the the friendship and the family that we've become, is just really, really cool. And then, you know, the whole family tie plays into the University of Houston, and we have Alvin Brooks on our staff, and his dad's on the staff at the University of Houston, and they're another Southwest Conference foe. And you know, it's just there's just so much irony in all of this. And so I'm just really excited. I'm excited for Scott. And, you know, just we've said as a staff, and this is without coach around, we'd always say, man, we get to a Final Four, we win a national championship, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. You know, that's, as a staff, that's something we want for him. He never talks about that, but, you know, so as we do our job is to have him win Big 12 Coach of the Year, National Coach of the Year, you know, and be a Hall of Famer. And to know that we're taking a step in that direction for him, it makes us feel cool as a staff.
You gave us some examples from the Arkansas game of your team and the maturity of those guys. How great is that as a coach to see that maturity play out, you know, and players coaching themselves, you know, in some cases, and saying, you know, be quiet, listen to Coach Tang, things like that. How great is that to see that?
Man, it's, you know, you just can't quantify it, you know, you can't, because not only do their words carry weight, but their actions. I mean, I think if you watch our team, you'll see that it never looks like they get rattled. You know, it just doesn't. Like, I just think back to, I can go back to the West Virginia game, John, when we're at West Virginia goes on a run in the second half, and then Emmett Matthews gets that dunk.
Yep.
Okay. And I mean, it feels like there's 13,000 people in there as they're screaming, you know, but we come down the very next possession and have a really good offensive possession, and Davion Mitchell hits a three. And it's like, okay, we're all right.
Yeah.
And you think about the Villanova game, the kid Slater drives left, we mess up on the side, he gets a dunk. And I mean, it could be a real momentum thing, but we come down, have a great possession, score, and everything's back to normal. So you watch our guys out there, and basketball is a game of mistakes. And so, you know, we make mistakes and Arkansas capitalizes on it, but it's the team that makes the least mistakes that's going to win. So what do? We come down and we have 3 or 4 really good possessions where we're making shots and they're not. And I mean, but you can see it, their calmness, their confidence, their belief, they don't get rattled. And so that is so cool as a coach, that, you know, all you have to worry about is like coaching the game and giving them, you know, little things that's going to help them. You don't have to worry about getting them refocused because they're focused.
That kind of leads me into, it was one of the main things Coach Drew said in his interview after the Arkansas game, and it was, as good of players as they are, they're better people. And I just kind of wanted to give you an opportunity to speak to that, and, you know, how they truly are living out the joy, Jesus, others, and yourself, that you guys always preach. Because there's a lot of people who, you know, say they live by one thing, and teams that say they go by one thing, but as you mentioned, you can see it and you can witness it firsthand, whether you're a spectator in the stands or watching it on TV, or, as you mentioned, a coach on the sideline getting to kind of live it with them.
Yeah, well, you know, we after the Big 12 tournament and then the loss, and we just really decided we got some practice days. We saw it as a blessing. You know, the guys, I believe, saw it as a blessing also. And we were moving on to the next thing. And our theme in this bubble, not just with Joy, is, Joy has three things: it's Jesus, and then we feel like our guys have done a really good job with deflecting all the honor, all the things that are happening, to Jesus. And then, the last thing is yourself, and they do a really good job with themselves. Okay. And that's just that's just human nature. And one of the things that Coach Jake is in his chapels and in our chapel we've talked about is how do we become better with others? How do we love our teammates more? How do we, just really, just take the focus and think about what everyone else is going through and how do we help each other? And we really wanted to get better at the others part. And I feel like as you watch these guys, not just out there on the floor, but here in our team room, they are spending more time with each other. They are, building each other up. They're constantly speaking highly of each other, and not in a very in a passive way, but it's real intentional. The things that you hear Maceo Teague say about his teammates as he really, compliments the guys like Flo and John and Mark, who may not get as much attention, be on the stat sheet, but like really, these guys really know what they mean to the team, the screens they set, the rebounding, the defense, what they bring to the table, and so to see that, and to see the guys say, the staff say, fellas, this is an area we have to get better in. And then to see them say, y'all are right, and we're going to do a better job, and we're going to be intentional about it. It just really speaks to the character of the whole team and who they are. And you wouldn't want to be around a better group of guys.
Coach Jerome Tang, our guest, Baylor basketball associate head coach. Bears in the Final Four. It's a matchup with the University of Houston coming up on Saturday here in Indianapolis. How's Coach Brooks holding up? It's got to be, on one hand, it's got to be so exciting with his dad on the staff at U of H and the history there, and Coach Brooks, our Coach Brooks from Houston. On the other hand, it's got to be tough. What's his mindset right now?
He said that he wasn't going to talk to his dad after Tuesday. Like, he was going to hug him, Monday night, and then he's going to see him on Tuesday. And then after Tuesday, he wasn't going to talk to him anymore. Yep. And Coach Drew was like, well, I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to give him a hug every time I see him.
Right.
And so, I'm sure there's some mixed emotions in there, but I would think it's like, with us and any family member, we love them, but we want to beat them. That's just what it is. You want to have the bragging right, and not because you want to make them feel bad, but it's just the competitive nature of being family members. And so he's locked in, he's focused. We're gonna keep it, help him to try and keep it light and in perspective, but I know he wants to win this game. So
coaching is a competitive thing, and if you're not competitive, you shouldn't be a coach.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I love it. Walk us through a little bit as you guys are starting preparation for number 2 Houston. It'll be a big Final Four matchup. Kind of what are you expecting from them? What have you seen in their games so far in the bubble?
Well, because I'm so close with Coach Brooks on the Houston staff, as a high school coach, I was just starting at Heritage Christian when he was the head coach at the University of Houston. And he went out of his way to make me feel welcome and important. And he didn't have to, because I didn't have any players at the time. And he was just such an incredible man. And our Coach Brooks started a thing during the pandemic called the Be Ready platform. And we've all been a part of that together. So we've all helped each other become better coaches. And so that's been really cool. And so this whole year, I've probably watched, 18 of their games, maybe 20 of their games, just because we, want to see them win. I'm cheering for them. I'm excited. And so watching them play this year, immediately their toughness, their ability to just impose their will on the other team. And that's a direct reflection of Coach Calvin Sampson, who, he was a great coach at Oklahoma. I remember when we were early in the league here, he was at Oklahoma and his teams were always tough and they rebound and they defend. And you see the University of Houston do that. They're the number 2 offensive rebounding team in the country. I mean, they retrieve 40% of their misses. And, so that's going to be a challenge. They have an answer for the post. If you throw it in there, they're going to double you, and they're going to guard you with their chests, and they have active hands. And then they don't give up easy buckets, and they don't make mistakes. They don't turn the ball over. So it is going to be a challenge, very much like Villanova, in that they are extremely disciplined, and he's going to have 3 or 4 days to prepare them for what we're going to do. And so it's going to be a very physical basketball game. And that's for the next 3 days. That's what we're going to try and prepare our guys for the physicality that they are going to bring to the game. And then how difficult it is going to be to score on the first side of the floor. We're going to have to make the ball move from side to side and really work on offense to get good shots, because they don't give you good shots.
Coach Tang, how about the stage you find yourselves on? For your platform, for Baylor basketball, for Baylor University, this is just a huge stage and a lot of eyes, like you said, watching the Final Four every year since 1979. Think about how many eyes are on, this event in Baylor basketball right now.
Man, I told Jared Butler, like after the game, and we're just hugging and like, because he had asked me before the tournament started. He said, "How far did Tweety go in the tournament?" And I told him, "Well, Tweety went to the Elite Eight," and he was like, "Well, man, I got to get to the Final Four." And I said, "Yeah." So after the game, man, we're hugging, and I just told him, I said, "Jared, as a kid, I watched Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, and then I went out and I pretended I was them, and right now there are kids out there that are pretending they're Jared Butler and Davion Mitchell and Maceo Teague, and there's some young high school coach out there who dreams of being a college coach one day and being on the stage. And that was me. And at one point in time, and I mean, to that person, I say it can happen. To that kid, I say it can happen. You can be that guy. And it's just really cool. And to be able to share the mission of Baylor, and what we are about, and to be unashamed about our love for Jesus and our love for others, and to be able to share the gospel openly, and to allow the young men and the character of who they are and what they're about to be on display. And, I think the school, the Let Your Light Shine Bright, I think, this is during this time and this year of so much turmoil and craziness, to have these young men in Baylor University allowed to let their light shine bright, let people know that there's hope and there's life and love and unity and strength and diversity. And, there's just, this is unbelievable. And I'm thankful that God chose these guys to be the ones.
Well, and it's super neat. I know when the volleyball team made it to the Final Four, there was a big discussion about, seeing the team pray on national television. And for you guys to have won in the Elite Eight and to be so excited to celebrate, do the ice bucket and the confetti and the cutting of the nets, but first to see you guys stop and really pray and all come together. That's really special for myself personally to see. And I know I speak for the Baylor family as well. So super proud of you guys, wishing you all the luck, and hopefully we're cutting down more nets here soon.
Well, we're gonna, Coach Brooks always says, same old boring habits. And so we're gonna just the same old boring habits. We're gonna try to be 1-0 today, and figure out how to get 1% better. And we're gonna do that over the next 3 or 4 days, and then we're gonna go play a great University of Houston team, and just try to let joy be on display for the whole country and the world. And at the end of it, if we have more points than they do, we're going to be ecstatic, and we're going to give the honor and glory to God. And if at the end of it, they have more points than we do, we're going to be hurt, but we're going to still give the honor and glory to God. And you're going to see us huddle and pray, because without him, we can do nothing. And through him, we can do all things.
Amen to that. Hey, that's great. Coach, thanks very much. We appreciate it. It's great to visit with you. Thank you for your time, and good luck on Saturday against the University of Houston.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right. That is Jerome Tang, Baylor Associate Head Coach for Baylor basketball. Baylor versus Houston in the Final Four. It's Baylor's first trip to the Final Four in the modern era, first time since 1950 for Baylor basketball to be in the Final Four. And Brooke, we look forward to that. And Coach Tang would not do it. We might say with a win on Saturday, they would play for the national championship on Monday. We can at least say that, right?
Right. I love it. But let's focus on 4:14 Central Time on Saturday.
Gotcha. Oh, look at you. You're not even looking ahead. Okay.
No, 4:14 Central Time on Saturday. We can talk about it at like 6:30.
Gotcha. Well done. Thanks to Coach Tang. For Brooke Bednarz, I'm John Morris. Thanks for tuning in to a special Final Four Inside the Bubble edition of the Sic Em Podcast.
This month, it's all about the championship drive. As our home team drives forward, so can you in your new Ram truck from Allen Samuels. Performance, power, reliability. Whatever the job calls for, we've got you covered. During Ram Truck Month, you can shop our selection of the new 2021 Ram 1500, the Ram 2500, and the Ram 3500. Take home the trophy from Allen Samuels in Waco. Come by, let's be friends.
I hate my job,
but I don't mind getting up in the morning.
I dread each day,
but I can't wait to get out of bed.
You ask me why,
and what I'll say to you is true. Well, you can get breakfast tacos at Rudy's Barbecue. Scrambled eggs and brisket, they ain't fooling around. Sausage wrap, son, they're the best in town. Barbecue for breakfast, yes, it's true. Put a smile on your morning at Rudy's Barbecue. Next in line.
You've been listening to a special edition Inside the Bubble Sic Em Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and watch for more from Inside the Bubble with Baylor men's and women's basketball in the NCAA tournaments. The Sic Em Podcast is a production of Baylor Athletics.